Hey, so I made it out of the house. Kind of had an unexpected day off because I had forgotten that I had requested back in July a couple of days off in the middle of August because we were going to try to do something that didn't actually work out, but we were trying to. Anyway, even though we didn't do the thing we were going to do originally, I did get to. I still took the days off, and it's funny because I had completely forgotten about it. Something was just tickling the back of my brain, and I remembered and went, oh. So I had yesterday off and today off, and then I go back to work tomorrow. Yesterday I tried to get out of the house and just do stuff. It really didn't work out very well. My brain was in a bad space, and it was dumb, and so I didn't get much done. Today, however, I came out with the intent of getting new glasses cases because I have my regular glasses and my reading glasses, and the cases were like, they've got that piece of metal or aluminum or whatever it is in there. So when you open them, they stay open, and when you close, they snap shut and stay closed. Both of those had broken, and so I really needed some new ones. I went to my eye doctor's office, and they were able to give me one for free. And it, stays open and closed as it should. And then I came here to the mall and got one for pretty cheap at Lens Crafters, and I got a discount because I'm a AAA member, and yeah, so I only paid like $11 for that. And it was important to me to be able to actually come here and try them out, right? Because I could buy stuff online, but it's always so hard to tell if it'll work, So yeah, I was able to do that. So I got two things accomplished today that I didn't think I was going to be able to do because me and outdoors lately have been not great. So yeah. So I made it. I don't know what else I'm going to do today, if anything. Just have to see where the day takes me, I guess. And that's it for now. I will check in a little later. I think I'm going to try to find a nice spot outdoors maybe to film where there's not a lot of sunshine. Wish me luck on that. Hey, so I did not, in fact, find a shady spot to go film outside. It's just hot here. Didn't want to deal with hot anymore, so I came back home where there is air conditioning because air conditioning is good. It's not good for the environment, but it's good. It's good when you don't want to be boiling. So I'm still feeling really good that I found those glasses cases. I am going to have to tweak one of them. Might have to glue some foam in to make it just a little bit more snug for the glasses. So one of the things I've been wrestling with is my therapist suggested a book that I read called When Things Fall Apart. It's been hard to get through just because within like the first chapter, she talks about how she took an entire year off to do nothing but meditate and read and whatever. And that took me right out of the book immediately. I'm like, well, must be nice to have that kind of money to just take a year off, try to get things sorted in your brain. But I went back and started to read it again, and something happens when I read these, these self-help type books. I have brain fog anyway, but it gets really bad to where like I'll just be sitting there and the physical feeling of my head just being compressed by like lethal amounts of cotton. You don't know how else to describe it. To where nothing makes sense. And I just get this feeling of being overwhelmed and weepy, and it just sucks. Like There's one section so far that has stood out as maybe being something I can learn something from. Once there was a young warrior. Her teacher told her that she had to do battle with fear. She didn't want to do that. It seemed too aggressive. It was scary. It seemed unfriendly. But the teacher said she had to do it and gave her the instructions for the battle. The day arrived. The student warrior stood on one side, and fear stood on the other. The warrior was feeling very small, and fear was looking big and wrathful. They both had their weapons. The young warrior roused herself and went toward fear, prostrated 3 times, and asked, "May I have permission to go into battle with you?" Fear said, "Thank you for showing me so much respect that you asked permission." Then the young warrior said, "How can I defeat you?" Fear replied, "My weapons are that I talk fast and I get very close to your face. Then you get completely unnerved and you do whatever I say. If you don't do what I tell you, I have no power. You can listen to me and you can have respect for me. You can even be convinced by me. But if you don't do what I say, I have no power." In that way, the student warrior learned how to defeat fear. I think I understand what she's talking about. And it's okay to feel fear, to acknowledge that the fear and the feeling of that fear is real, and to, I guess, not shy away from the emotion that comes with it. And I guess even go so far as to acknowledge that in some cases, the things that you fear in life are valid. They're valid fears, and there's a place and time to acknowledge that they're real. Not all fears are. That's something else I have to learn to distinguish between, are the fears that are worth fearing as opposed to those that are just stories, told by an overactive imagination. But so I get that. I kind of get what she's referring to there. I'm trying to combine, I guess, that lesson with, these are more notes that I wrote down during one of my therapy sessions, that I have to push back on the phrase, "I shouldn't have," because it more often than not just leads me down a hole of rumination and self-recrimination. Like I've been having struggles at work because I've had a lot of, I've called out a lot this year in particular because of migraines and a session of cluster headaches. And so, of course, my first thought is I shouldn't have called out as much as I have. And she noted that I need to push back on that, calling out because you're in pain, you're in physical pain, is not any way an indicator that you're a bad person. Again, at some point in my life, I ended up training myself that if I'm going through something bad, I have to feel extremely bad about it the entire time that I'm going through the bad thing. Otherwise, I am not doing it right. I'm not doing bad things happening to me correctly if I'm not feeling absolutely freaking horrible about it the entire time. God, my brain. And to give myself some distance from my thoughts, instead of saying, thinking to myself, I'm a bad person who might lose my job due to attendance issues, I need to instead tell myself, reframe it in, how did she put it? I am having the thought that I'm a bad person who might lose my job due to my attendance issues. By framing the thought and the feeling in that way, it creates some distance between the thoughts so that I don't think that the thought is true, but recognizing that it's just an idea. It's just an idea of something that might happen. I'm not a crappy person who might lose my job because I called out too much. Rather, I'm having a thought that I am a crappy person because I call out too much. Sorry, I'm attempting to create a space where I can film that doesn't involve the living room and asking Karina to relocate to the bedroom. But unfortunately, it requires me sitting in a way that, unless I'm kind of moving all the time, causes my legs to fall asleep, which isn't good. So I guess I'm going to take that as my sign to end this video. But yep, that's what I'm thinking now. And now I'm going to try to enjoy the rest of my day off and see, I'm already starting to think that I need to do more. And that filming this was probably pointless because I'm just rambling and who cares? But anyway, if you're here and you're watching it, thanks for listening to me ramble. Maybe something I said can help you. All right, till next time, take care.